Dead Rock Chapter 25 is officially out in this chapter. This chapter was absolutely insane. Probably one of my favorites, but also one of the most unexpected events has occurred in this chapter that I wasn't thinking of happening in this manga, but it just left me in shock and awe towards the end of it. It has a lot of implications for the future of this series, especially considering the fact that MASHIMA in a Twitter or X space or whatever the other day ended up saying that Dead Rock is apparently now in part 2, and he was excited for this chapter to be coming out specifically. So a lot of stuff to go over in this chapter, and I'm gonna start breaking it down for you guys, because this one's a doozy. But before we jump into the video, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. Really helps, and it shows you guys enjoy the content I make here on the channel and shows you want to see more. Also, we have officially hit 30,000 subscribers on the channel. Thank you all so much for this another big milestone for the channel. I got a lot of stuff planned in the future for more videos. Look forward to that. I want to try and end the year off strong, and hopefully we make it to 50K. I know that's a big leap from right now, but I have faith that we can reach that goal towards the end of the year or get close to it. But either way, thanks a lot for the 30K subscribers. I plan to do more. I really do want to do more Dead Rock videos. I just gotta plan out my schedule a lot more to keep talking about this manga more consistently. Also, if you want to help the channel out more directly, don't be afraid to check out my Patreon in the description down below, where once you sign up on the lowest, which is the Guildmate tier, you'll get access to Patreon early access videos, as well as my own new starting series of reaction content to anime that is going to be on Patreon exclusively. Right now, I'm going to be reacting to Lord of Mysteries and later on Yakuto, so look forward to those. I'm going to be uploading those on Patreon exclusively for all tier members. And once you sign up to Patreon, you will end up also getting access to my patron-only Discord server. You'll also be getting shoutouts at the end of this video, and your name will end up being at the end of each video. And you'll get access to videos earlier than they would coming out on YouTube. But with that out of the way, let's jump right into Dead Rock Chapter 25, titled Consolation Prize. Cover image is actually an image of Hani, but this actually looks a lot more like the latest volume cover for Dead Rock with Hani on it, just without the additional background and the coloring. So I don't have much to say about it. It's a fine image, but I feel like it could have been a bit different. But regardless, the chapter starts off with a brief retread of the matchup from last chapter, which is Saryu against Yakuto and Frey in a 2v1. As Yakuto is facing off against his teacher, he begins to think that he probably really was a good teacher, but now God stole away the time he would have spent finding out if that really was the case. Yakuto gets knocked back from his pole, as Saryu then pins Frey to the ground once more, with Class F realizing just how strong their homeroom teacher actually is. Frey gets up telling Yakuto that they can't win like this, and that Yakuto needs to take on his dragon form right now. Yakuto plants his hand on the ground, saying that he was hoping to keep this power hidden as a trump card to kill God, which, yeah, makes sense why he's still using the same right arm, because they all are still under the assumption that Yakuto had his power stripped away by Lilith still and only had the power in his right arm, so makes sense. Saryu hits Yakuto in the gut once more, with Yakuto trying to block it, as Frey is urging for him to use his powers. Yakuto says, "I'm sorry," and he then ends up beginning his transformation into the monochrome dragon. I am not saying black and white dragon, that is a mouthful, but either way, we get a full double-page spread of Yakuto in his new dragon form, and it still looks really, really cool. I am not used to the acnologia design in all white instead of all black, but even still, it looks so freaking cool, and I really, really love it. I can't wait to see this in color. But either way, Yakuto takes on his dragon form, as the higher echelon of the school ends up being surprised. Baltagar ends up reacting to the fact that Yakuto turned into a dragon. Lilith is confused because she was sure that she sealed away his power and that him gaining this form is impossible, and God commenting on the fact that the black dragon became a white dragon. Yakuto launches a breath attack at Saryu, which eviscerates a good chunk of the Colosseum, probably killing a good chunk of students as well, but this is Dead Rock, they don't really give a damn, as Saryu actually avoided the attack and is now above Yakuto. He then makes his staff grow and then pins Yakuto's head to the ground with a massive blow to the head. As this gets Yakuto off balance, he then ends up hitting Yakuto off on the side with his staff once more, and keeps hitting him multiple times with his staff, as everybody is just incredibly shocked at how quickly Saryu was able to take on Yakuto in his dragon form with that giant pole that he is manipulating. But before Saryu manages to land another blow, Frey launches a fireball at his back, freezing him for a second, and Yakuto takes this opportunity to reel back his fist. getting ready to deal a blow against Saryu. And as he's beginning to think, he's really sorry about what's going on, because he might have been a good teacher, and when he thinks of what could have happened if he actually got a chance to understand them someday, it really is hurting his heart. But Saryu ends up smiling, basically saying, that doesn't matter right now, just do it. Yakuto, with a screeching roar, lands his massive fist, crushing Saryu into the ground, dealing the finishing blow. As then we get the explosion from the arena, and then a massive shockwave from this 2-page spread onwards, as everybody feels the shockwave. Now, everyone waits with bated breath for the smoke to clear, and the ones still standing, well, alive, are Yakuto and Frey, as they are crowned the official winners of this Dead or Alive tournament, and this time it's a pair of first years, with everybody in celebration over what just happened, with Yakuto and Frey relieved that they won. It's then that God makes a grand entrance this time, something that we haven't really seen him try and do, just make a big performance out of it, flips and lands onto the battlefield, congratulating the two of them, as they are now all face to face. As God ends up congratulating them, saying that he's surprised that they were able to beat a teacher, and saying that first Class F is the winners of this year's tournament, as the spectators cheer, with Frey smiling. And God says his plan was to reward the winning class with the privilege of serving as his assistants for a year, but he's voiding that offer, saying that basically they threw the battle pets out into the battlefield to kind of cause a premature end to the tournament so they went out to kill each other, and saying instead of suspending them like he normally would, he's just revoking their prize. And it does kind of make sense, so okay, they don't get a prize, but hey, they got out with their lives, right? And he then names the MVP of the tournament being Frey. And yeah, this actually does kind of make sense. She beat Laozen, she gained access to her origin route, she gained a new transformation in her fight against Eiji, and defeated him very swiftly. And even then, she did help in the defeat of Saryu right now. But in comparison to Yakuto, Frey had the best showcasing in this entire tournament, and it makes sense why he would name her the MVP. And so, yeah, she was the best fighter in this entire tournament, and I'm actually glad that that's the case, and she's getting recognized for that. But he ends up saying that Frey is the true winner of the final match in the tournament. Frey and Yakuto are celebrating right now, but God says to Yakuto it's time for his consolation prize. He points his finger towards Yakuto, and in a full 2-page spread, Yakuto's head explodes, as God just destroyed and killed Yakuto with a singular point of his finger, as the MC of this manga has seemingly been killed right in front of Frey and the entirety of the school in an instant, as God with a smirk says, there's only one victor. And this goes back to the previous end of the chapter, that God said that there would only be one victor at the end of this tournament. So, yeah, he basically shoots Yakuto in the head with sheer energy or force, and his head just completely explodes, seemingly just killing him right off the cuff. But before Yakuto's corpse falls to the ground, which we would all assume, okay, maybe Mikoto can end up reviving him with her necromancy, no, God just has his body just completely evaporate into a black mist and dissipate in front of Frey, as she just witnesses potentially someone that she truly loves and one of her best friends die in front of her very eyes, losing someone else that she cares about, as she screams in just despair and true sadness, with God just walking away, and Frey, trembling, takes her sadness into anger and stares right at him. But the rest of her class are telling her to stop, and she just stops right in her place. Now, it is very prominent that it says freeze, as it seems that Ares is the one that froze Frey in place, as he's like, not yet, Frey. And it seems Mikoto has noticed that Ares had done something to Frey to basically keep her from getting killed doing something stupid. And it's with that the Dead or Alive tournament has been officially ended, with Frey as the winner and Yakuto dead, with the chapter ending with Frey on the ground, crying on the ground, and the rest of her classmates in tears over Yakuto's death, with the end of the chapter, her giving her pledge that she will avenge Yakuto, and that's how chapter 25 of Dead Rock ends. Oh boy. So yeah, Yakuto's dead, body completely disintegrated, and now I think Frey is being set up to be the main character, if not for the rest of the series, for a few more chapters at this point, considering that now she has more of a personal grudge against God now, and she's basically inheriting Yakuto's will to an extent, so yeah, there's that. What the hell, Mashima? Look, I know we all expected something big to happen by the end of this tournament, but no one expected the MC to die like that again, and this is actually the second series in a row where Mashima decided, you know what? Let's just kill the MC in one of the most shocking ways possible with a headshot. Like, what the hell? Look, I love this chapter. It definitely took a turn I was not expecting, and probably for the better. But even still, the balls on Mashima to not only do it in this series after a triumphant moment, but to do it the second series in a row in an almost similar manner is just absolutely insane. Now, what could this mean for Yakuto going forward? Will he be revived? Will there be time travel? I'm going on him being revived, or he was somehow saved at the last minute. It's one of those options. I doubt he's going to do time travel again, but then again, time travel and time manipulation has been a staple for Mashima for all three of his previous series to some extent, with Eden Zero being the biggest one by far, considering time travel was a main part of the plot for the entirety of the manga. But I do hope he kind of reels back from that, because this series is definitely a bit of a departure from how he normally writes things, and so I really hope he kind of keeps the time travel aspect of his writing style out of Dead Rock. But we just gotta wait and see. I'm hoping that since we're basically setting up Frey to be the main character from this point onwards, and Masha basically saying that we're in part 2 of the manga now for the most part, I'm at least expecting Frey to be the MC for a couple of chapters. If we go a year with Frey being the point of view MC for the series going forward, that would be interesting before we get Yakuto back. But even if it's just maybe like 3 to 5 chapters, maybe half a year's worth of material, that'd be great too. Who knows, we might get a time skip. But either way, this was a shocking chapter. I wish I could go into more detail, but even then, I'm just in shock right now over how insane this chapter was. But I'm looking forward to the future of this series, and Mashima keeps us on our toes with Dead Rock every single month. So let me know in the comment section down below what you thought of this chapter. What do you think is going to happen with Yakuto, with his quote-unquote death? Do you think he's dead for good, or do you think he's going to come back? Do you think Frey's going to be the main character for a little bit? Let me know in the comment section down below your thoughts, opinions, and theories for the future of the series, and if you enjoyed the chapter. And once more, if you haven't already, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. Really helps, and it shows you guys enjoy the content I make here on the channel, and shows you want to see more. And with all that said and done, I hope you all have an awesome day.